This is a seated hamstring curl machine, which we use to train those hamstrings. Because you are seated in an upright position with your hips bent in this exercise, you are training the fully lengthened position of the hamstring compared to a lying hamstring curl, which trains the fully shortened position. The seated hamstring curl primarily trains the hamstring. However, you will still use your calves, especially the gastrocnemius, which also crosses the knee joint. Because you are seated with your hips flexed, your hamstrings start in a more lengthened position. The hardest part of this movement is the mid-range to shortened position where your feet are almost underneath you. For this exercise, setup is important. First, adjust the back pad so that when you are sitting, your knees line up with the pivot point of the machine. Most machines have a marker like a red dot or some type of circle showing you where the axis is. Your goal is to align your knee with that point so that your knee is bending in alignment with the machine's rotation. Then you need to adjust the ankle pad so it rests on your calf just above your ankle, between the top of your ankle and the bottom of your calf. If the ankle pad moves up or down your calf during your reps, you are likely seated too far back or forward, and your knee joint isn't aligned with the machine's axis point, so you would want to adjust the back seat either forward or back to get your knee into alignment with the axis of the machine. If you let that ankle pad roll up and down your leg, you'll increase joint stress and your hamstrings won't be able to produce force as efficiently, which costs us muscle gain. Once that's all set, you can place the thigh pad down snugly over your thighs. It should feel firm and stable. The goal is to reduce extra movement. If it's too loose and there's a lot of open space, you'll get unnecessary movement like your quads moving up and down. Only your lower leg should move. Your thighs and hips should stay locked in place. Sit with your hips pushed back into the seat, your back pressed into the seat pad, and your femurs parallel with your toes and kneecaps pointing up towards the ceiling. You want to avoid letting your knees rotate outward or inward. We don't want them lazy and rotated out to the sides. That can reduce force production and cause knee pain over time. If you have good mobility, you can lean forward slightly to increase the hamstring stretch in the lengthened position, but make sure that motion comes from your hips tipping your whole pelvis forward, not by rounding your back. Your spine needs to stay neutral. At the top of every rep, when your legs are straight, that weight stack is pulling your legs upward, but as you curl down, the direction of pull shifts more forward, which is why you may feel like your hips want to slide forward through the rep. So to avoid that pulling forward, you want to extend your arms straight and brace against the thigh pad and push your hips back into the seat. From the top of the rep, as you initiate the curl, think about driving your heels down and back. Keep your torso still. Your torso should not rock or swing, and the only thing moving is your lower leg bending at your knee. Your leg will curl until you reach full flexion or bend, then slowly control that weight back up to the top, like you're resisting the stretch and allowing your hamstrings to slowly lengthen under tension. The lowering phase is just as important as the curl down for building muscle and strength, so you do not want to rush through it, and avoid letting the weight stack slam at the top. Let's go over some common mistakes. One common mistake is misaligning your knee with the machine's pivot point. If the ankle pad is sliding up or down your leg, adjust your seat so that your knee lines up properly. This protects your knee and creates smoother reps. Another mistake is letting your hips slide forward through the movement. Remember that the weight will start to pull you forward. Push your arms firmly into the thigh pad and stay tall to resist that force. A third mistake is rounding your back to lean forward to try and create more range of motion. If you want more stretch in the lengthened position at the top, you need to tilt your pelvis forward while keeping your spine nice and neutral and straight. Rounding from the back does nothing but put you in a weaker position. And lastly, avoid using momentum. If you're swinging your torso or jerking the weight up and down, the load is just too heavy. Choose a weight that allows you to fully control both the control and the return so that your hamstrings are doing the work, not your body weight just shifting around.